Good evening and happy Thursday. I am getting ready to cook my favorite spaghetti. So I'm gonna show some of the ingredients and then we'll pause and get right to the cooking. So I like Good Chop. This is their ground bison. So I'm gonna put in a pound of the ground bison. And then I also have from Good Chop, I like a meatier sauce. So I'm gonna put in their ground beef, which is an 80-20. So a total of 3 pounds of between the ground bison and also the ground beef into the sauce. Some other things that I like to use throughout the cooking process is California organic extra virgin olive oil. You can get this at Costco. I also really like their garlic olive oil. It tastes really good in the sauce. And then some of the things that I add to the sauce is cinnamon. I know it actually enhances the flavor quite a bit. Montreal steak seasoning. Started doing that lately. Haven't done that in the past. And then I also like it applewood smoked salt. I have some garlic powder that I usually add to the top of it. I also have, I'm trying this new. I got it from Sprouts. It's Yo Mama's tomato sauce basil, as well as Yo Mama's toasted garlic, or roasted garlic, I should say. All fresh ingredients, gluten-free, dairy-free, to add into the sauce. And some of the things that I've picked from my garden, I have fresh basil. I like to add that to the sauce. And then I also have fresh lavender, which I believe really enhances the flavor. I'm also going to be adding some sweet onions. When I start cooking the sauce, I like to chop up my sweet onions and also fresh garlic first. Saute it for, I want to say about 5 minutes until it's golden brown, starts smelling really aromatic. The onion gets kind of a translucent color to it. And then I'll add in the beef, cook that up to about medium rare. The sauce is going to cook it the rest of the way. So I will show you that process soon. Okay, so I've cut up the onions, cut up the garlic, but there's an actual method to this madness. So I'm going to put the cooking on about 7, and I'm just going to slide this down so you can see exactly what I'm doing. You don't have to see me doing it, although I think you'll get the idea. So we're going to just coat the bottom of this with enough olive oil to saute the garlic and the onions. I'm going to take this and just slide it around in my nice little cast iron Dutch oven. It is one of the greatest things in life, is having that as my cooking pot, I should say. So, and we're gonna give it a second to warm up. It should only probably take I want to say, let's give it a couple minutes. So, and then we'll come back and add some garlic. Okay, so we have a little bit of sizzle to that oil. So I'm going to go ahead and add the garlic first. All right, so I have my garlic chopped up and also my sweet onion. But right now, we're just going to saute that up to make sure it gets golden brown, has a really nice aromatic flavor to it. So a minute usually is long enough for that. And it's already browning really quickly, getting that translucent, beautiful color to it with the gold from that olive oil. All right. Probably hasn't even been 30 seconds, but I'm pleased with how that's cooking. So I'm going to go ahead and add in those sweet onions. And again, for this recipe that I use, that I created myself, I don't like there to be a ton of onions, but there should be just enough. Now, and this spaghetti sauce does come with its own onions, so, you know, I don't want to get overkill, but I also want fresh ingredients as well. So I'm going to add those in. We're going to cook that for a couple minutes until we have some translucency within the sweet onions. So let me get that going. And again, it is just cooking super fast, which makes me really happy. I enjoy cooking, I really do, but I also enjoy it when it's a quick process too. you know, it's different on a beautiful 5-course meal. Maybe you plan for days and days and it takes you all day to cook it. That's different. But for the everyday, I like it to taste good. Actually, I like it to taste great, but not take an arm and a leg to produce good quality food. So I think that is actually good enough. So I'm going to add that meat in. Have that 2 pounds of ground beef. And again, I like my sauce a little bit meatier. So 2 pounds might be enough for you all, but I like 3 pounds of my spaghetti sauce. I'm going to add that ground bison again. Add all those juices. Don't be afraid of it. There is no mad cow. We're not going to get trichinosis. A lot of that stuff has been bred out. These are all organic farmers. They treat their animals right. So, you know, again, Good Chop has great quality meat as well. We do have a local R&R, and I will also get my meat from there. But on the off chances, especially when I get busy, this is the service I like to use. They have great quality. Their pricing is also very good. So again, R&R, that's in Redding, California. That's a local meat, butcher shop, seafood, kind of a little bit of everything. So I did mention at the beginning, I do not like my meat, my beef or my bison to be all the way cooked through. It should not be brown when you add the spaghetti sauce. It should be brown on the outside, but still pink on the inside, because again, a lot of that is going to continue to cook in the sauce. So you don't want to overcook it and have it be chewy, which can really ruin your sauce. All right, we're going to keep going. I'm going to pause this and show you when it's ready, and we'll add the spaghetti sauce soon. Okay, so I've cooked this for about 2 minutes now, and you can still see that it's quite pink still, but there's also brown on the outside. So again, you don't want to overcook your meat, so this is the time I'm going to add the sauce right on top of it, and it's going to continue to cook. So some old-fashioned cooks out there overcook their meat. It's a Greek tragedy, in my opinion. Don't do it. There's a lot of science behind how food is made now, and it doesn't require us to do those crazy things. So again, I'm going to add the basil sauce right on top of the sauce. And definitely don't bleach your lettuce. That's also really bad for you, in case you're making a side salad. All right, adding right on the top. And I'm going to go ahead and stir that into the meat. There it is. All right. Here it goes. Allow it to really absorb in. Got that beautiful color to it. Again, this is where most people stop. They think that their supermarket tomato sauce or their spaghetti sauce is the all and everything. It really is a mistake. Just like everything else, if you're not making it from scratch, you still want some fresh ingredients to really enhance all the flavors. So in this case, I'm going to add some fresh basil right on top. Again, this is grown in my own garden, so I'm not washing it. I know where it's been. I know the soil, and I'm going to pull off as much of the leaves as I can. Again, I don't want the stems in there. We don't want that extra chew to it. And a lot of this basil is going to cook directly into the sauce and will naturally separate on its own. So we don't have to, you know, cooking can be a joy if you stop being a perfectionist. You don't have to cut it into super small, exact sizes. The more messy you get, the more creative you get, equals really, really good flavor. So stop being a perfectionist. It ruins everything. Next, I have this beautiful lavender. This is a very powerful ingredient, so I'm not gonna add all this. I'm just gonna add a couple of twigs right here to it, and that's gonna be more than enough to enhance the flavor of the sauce. Again, this is my own recipe. This is what I like to do. You can deviate however you see fit. If there's certain ingredients that you just really don't like, don't add them. But this is what I like. So, and so far, anyone that's tasted my spaghetti sauce also really likes it. So, including my kids, including all of my ex-husbands, you know, regardless of the status of where we're at now, they all liked and thought my food was great. Now, when you become a perfectionist and you start criticizing, then that's where everything starts blowing up. Not cool for anyone. So, again, remember, this spaghetti sauce is made with love. And love is imperfect, not perfect. And that also is what makes a really, really amazing dish. So we're gonna add that in. And then I'm gonna take some, again, I had this amazing sea salt. I grind it first. I'm just gonna pull out some of those flavors. Gotta get a little bit of that salt in to enhance that meat. And I'm not gonna go too crazy. I really don't like a lot of salty, over salted products or food. So keep it simple. Applewood, smoked salt. Really want that warm flavor added directly into the sauce. I absolutely love the way that makes any of my food taste, whether I'm making taco meat, spaghetti meat, putting this on, you know, steak, prime rib, it doesn't matter. It's just, it puts it all over the top. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit more garlic powder right on top. Not too crazy because we do still have fresh garlic in there, but that adds a little bit of extra kick to it. And then I am going to add in some cinnamon. Now I like to add in cinnamon, stir it, add a little bit more in. It really enhances the flavor. And then I'm gonna add some, again, some steak seasoning right on top. It's gonna pull out everything. Here we go. All right, I can already smell it. I can smell the cinnamon. It feels like fall, even though it's still, today was 97 degrees outside, but it's cool enough in the house that I still felt like spaghetti. It's October, so I mean, we can all wish. I'm gonna stir that in. Oh, it smells great. The pepper, the salt. And of course, the most important thing about making spaghetti sauce is you gotta try it. Ooh, that's really good. Now, know this is gonna simmer and cook down. So, over time, some of the seasonings might meld in really good, or I might find it needs a little bit more seasoning. So, I do think it needs a little bit more cinnamon. I like the extra kick that cinnamon gives to the sauce. So I'm gonna add that in. All right, looking beautiful. All right, and then I'm gonna turn down the heat. Right now it's at a 7. I guarantee you that meat is already cooked, so I'm gonna drop the temperature on my burner to a 4, and I'm gonna set the timer for 30 minutes. And we're gonna allow this to cook down. Now I will be constantly stirring it over time, but I also have a pot of hot water that I've added salt to, and I'm gonna allow it to boil. Now, once it comes to a boil, which will take about 15 minutes, then I'm gonna add some olive oil into it. And that really helps with the gluten-free pasta noodles to not stick together in the water. With normal spaghetti noodles, that doesn't happen. But with the gluten-free, just the way they're made, they stick together. So adding that olive oil in the water will keep it separated and keep the cooking process for the noodle. It's gonna make a world of difference. It's night and day. Okay, so I don't always do this. It just really depends on the mood that I'm in. But if you have a good red wine that you really, really enjoy sipping alone, put it in your sauce. Don't put the cheap shit in there. It's not gonna taste good. It's going to not make the flavor of your sauce taste any greater. So I'm adding, I got from Naked Wines, it's called Ink, Ink, Ink. It's by David Akiyoshi. and it's a 2021 red wine blend. So I'm just gonna add that directly in the top. Again, I don't get too crazy. That's not even like a quarter of a cup. It's probably less, but that's gonna enhance the flavor of the sauce. And so that gives that extra little kick if you're looking for something special. Again, I don't do it all the time. It just depends on the mood, how I feel. Again, this is part of getting creative with it and doing what tastes good the day of, not what you think tastes good consistently, because our taste buds do change. So let's see how that turned out. Oh yeah, that set it over the top. That's the winner. Now, sometimes, but I kind of feel like I do this more towards the winter time. I don't know why. Sometimes I just crave more sugar in the winter. Maybe because I'm not exercising outside as much. I don't know. I don't even know. But I like to add brown sugar. So that's the other kick. I'll add brown sugar into the sauce, and that'll also enhance the flavor. But I don't do it all the time. It's probably maybe 25% of the time I'll add brown sugar. So that is another addition that you could make to your sauce that, you know, depending on your crowd, depending on your taste, depending on your mood, could set it right over the top. So each to their own. Okay, so we have a beautiful sauna experience as well as almost a rolling boil, but this is where I like to start. So I'm gonna add my extra virgin California olive oil directly in to the water. All right. Yep, that's good. You see it separating right there. Again, that's going to help these gluten-free noodles to not stick together. So I like leftovers. So I'm going to take 2 packs, 12 ounce. This is gluten-free spaghetti imported from Italy, right in to the pot. All right. And what's nice about this is made with whole grain rice. Some are made with corn. So again, it just depends on your preference. Add that directly into the pot. All right, there it goes. And we're gonna allow it to just collapse. They do have this nice little, you know, noodle strainer. So I like to just push it directly into the water. All right, there it is, all the way down. We're gonna rotate that. Now, there's no perfect science when you're cooking your spaghetti noodle. Again, you gotta get your hands dirty. So I have 11 minutes left on my spaghetti sauce, but in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna keep stirring the noodles, but I'm gonna pull out a noodle in 10 minutes. I'm gonna bite it. Now, I want it to taste al dente. What that means is, when you bite it, it should bite easily, it should be firm, but also soft. You don't want it to be chewy. If it's chewy, you've overcooked it. You want it to have a bite to it. Because again, when you add the spaghetti sauce on top of the noodle, it's going to continue to cook the noodle. So you don't have to overcook the spaghetti noodle. You just want it to be firm to the bite, be able to bite through it. So again, in about 10 minutes, it should be done. We'll check it again in 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. I did pull out a noodle. You can see how that wiggles, but it's not sloppy. See? It's al dente. That's exactly how you want your noodle. So it only took 5 minutes, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. Not bad. Okay, so I went ahead and I did drain it. Got all of that water out, but I'm gonna put it back in here because the last step in this process for an amazing sauce is you still gotta add more olive oil. So we're gonna add it directly on top of the noodle. And again, that's gonna help it from sticking together. It sucks when spaghetti noodles stick together. You don't want the clumps. So we're gonna get in there pull it straight up. Make sure it's separated. There it goes. There it goes. Look at how beautiful that looks. It's got an amazing glisten to it. So beautiful. Look at that. All right. That is exactly how you want your noodle. Look at that. It's shiny. It's coated. Now, I really like lemon olive oil. I keep running out of it, but when I put the lemon olive oil on top of the noodle, oh my God, it just takes it to another level. It's really how you want to accentuate your flavors with your spaghetti. At least that's how I like it. And back to the sauce. 30 minutes. You can see that we've got a really nice meat sauce. A lot of that additional sauce is cooked down, which, again, that's the way I like it. So I like my sauce a little meatier. Got a little ladle. So now we're gonna put it on a plate. Okay, so there's my beautiful noodles. I'm gonna add some sauce right on top. Just like to coat it right over the noodle. I like to get a little greedy with it. A couple of ladles does the trick for me. Gives it a nice coat over the noodle. And then we're gonna go one step further. Now, I don't have a dairy allergy, but if you do, you don't have to do this step. Again, it's all about what you like. So I have this wonderful Parmesan from Italy. I did get this one at Sprouts, and I'm just gonna dust it over the top. So we're going to use this wonderful little grater, and I'm just gonna slide it directly over the top. Coat it with some of that beautiful Parmesan, or Parmigiano, however you like to say it. Again, I am not Italian, but maybe I could pass off as one because I love Italian food so much. Although some people say it could also be Greek. I could also be black. I could also be Indian. But the irony is, I'm mostly European. 75% white, 23% Aztec. Isn't it funny how different cultures influence the things that you love? Jabala. So, whatever works for you. This is what works for me. Now, some people might not know this, but a spoon and your fork, put the spoon under your spaghetti sauce, and when you eat the noodle, you twirl it on top of your spoon. So that makes it easier to twist, create a full, beautiful scoop, and now, I think you get the picture. And yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. All right. I tried to keep this to like 10 minutes. Impossible. This is cooking. You know, you got the best of it in 24 minutes for free. All right. Have a good rest of your evening, everyone. Thanks for watching.